Imagine this. You're walking through your office building. The elevator dings. You step in, but the light flickers. And suddenly the world goes quiet. You open your eyes, and you're not where you were. Instead, you're in a vast yellow-tinted maze. Fluorescent lights buzzing above you, moist carpet underfoot, and no sign of another soul. This is not a dream. It's not quite a nightmare either. You've just no-clipped out of reality, into the backrooms. Thousands of people claim to have seen this place. An endless labyrinth of rooms, walls stained with decay, air filled with the hum of something unseen. But here's the question. What is the backrooms? A horror meme? A real phenomenon? Or something humanity was never meant to witness? Let's go deeper. The idea of the backrooms was born on the internet, but it didn't stay there. It started with a single image posted in May 2019 on 4chan. An empty room, yellowed wallpaper, harsh lighting. A user added a comment. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms. Something about that image, its uncanny familiarity, the smell you could almost imagine, hit people hard. They recognized it, not because they had seen it before, but because they felt like they had. And suddenly, thousands of others began sharing their own stories, dreams, nightmares, moments where reality glitched for just a second, stories of people finding themselves in vast silent corridors with no memory of how they got there. This wasn't just fiction anymore. This was a shared hallucination, or was it something more? Psychologists have long studied a phenomenon known as liminal spaces. These are places that exist between the familiar and the unknown. Hallways, stairwells, abandoned malls. They're not meant to be occupied. They're meant to be passed through. And that unsettles the brain. The backrooms, as an idea, is a liminal space taken to the extreme, an infinite loop of forgotten corners, of places not meant to exist. But what makes this truly disturbing is how many people feel like they've been there before. Even those who had never heard of the backrooms, when shown the image, reported an eerie sense of déjà vu. Let's take a moment to hear a real story.
I was 12 when it happened. I was playing hide and seek in a large furniture store. I slipped behind a display shelf and suddenly, boom, no sound, no people, just yellow rooms. It felt like forever. I ran for hours before I hit a fire door and it slammed me back into the store. My parents said I was missing for less than 3 minutes.
Did this kid no-clip out of reality? Or did his mind take him to a place that felt real? Because it is, in some twisted psychological way. The term no-clip comes from video games. It's a cheat code that lets you pass through walls and floors, to step outside the game's boundaries. But what happens when reality itself has those kinds of boundaries? And what if you break through? Here's where things get even stranger. Some theorists suggest the backrooms are part of a simulation glitch. A break in the fabric of the code we call the universe. A place that exists outside the rendered world. Something the system wasn't supposed to show us. Elon Musk, Nick Bostrom, even Plato have flirted with the idea that our world might be a simulation. If that's true, then places like the backrooms might not be fiction. They could be unrendered space, unused data, forgotten levels, or worse, maintenance zones never meant for human eyes. Let's talk science. Dr. Julia Shaw, a psychologist and memory researcher, says, "Memory is not a tape recorder. It's creative. It fills gaps. Sometimes our minds invent spaces and details that feel utterly real. But when thousands of minds create the same invented space, what does that say?" Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious, a hidden layer of the mind shared by all people. Symbols, archetypes, places. Is it possible that the backrooms is one such symbol? A representation of our shared fear, of being lost, forgotten, or trapped outside time? Some even connect the backrooms to sleep paralysis, a terrifying condition where you wake but can't move. Many sufferers report being trapped in unknown rooms, hearing static, or seeing strange entities, all eerily similar to backrooms descriptions. Coincidence? Or is the brain accessing a space that exists beyond dreams? And what about those entities? Many backrooms explorers report not being alone. Strange figures, moving shadows, distant footsteps. In the backrooms mythos, these are called hounds, smilers, or facelings, glitchy remnants, broken AI, or predators from an abandoned code. But here's where it gets disturbing. Even people unfamiliar with these stories report sensing something watching them in that yellow-lit maze. Let's pause. Why do we, as humans, invent places like this? Why are we drawn to the terrifying idea of slipping out of our world into a quiet, infinite one? Maybe it's about control. In a world growing faster and louder, the backrooms represent silent chaos, a place where nothing makes sense and no one can save you. Or maybe it's real. Real incident to anonymous Redditor.
I worked late nights cleaning office buildings. One night the hallway just kept going. I walked for what felt like hours. Everything repeated, the same stain on the carpet, the same flicker in the light. When I finally turned back, I was back at the start. My phone said 7 minutes had passed. I never took that job again.
But not everyone thinks it's supernatural. Some researchers suggest the backrooms may be tied to dissociation, a mental process where people feel disconnected from reality. In times of stress, trauma, or sleep deprivation, the brain can create environments to escape to liminal, strange, repetitive. But here's the issue. Too many of these accounts sound identical. Are thousands of people experiencing the same hallucination, or is the door real? Culturally, the backrooms have become a symbol. In music, in art, in horror films. They represent what we can't name. The fear that reality is not fixed, that we can fall through it, and no one will notice. It's not about ghosts, it's about silence, repetition, loneliness. And the scariest part, the idea that we might not come back. So, what are we to make of it? A viral meme, a shared dream, a crack in the simulation, or a new myth rising from the digital age? Whatever the answer, it has already etched itself into our collective memory. And maybe that's where the backrooms truly exist. Not beneath the surface of our world, but in the fault lines of our minds. Waiting, buzzing, flickering, forever yellow. Maybe you've never been to the backrooms, or maybe you just don't remember. But if one day, the walls ripple, and your hallway feels longer than it should, and the hum in the lights gets louder, don't panic. Just keep walking. And whatever you do, don't look back. If this story made you feel something shift inside, like, share and subscribe to Brain and Beyond. Because here, we don't just explore the mind, we uncover the glitches in reality itself.